Welcome to the Sharpe Way. It is not Monday, but Friday. I know I love it being Monday. I've forgotten what day it is. It pops all over the place, which means we have Sharpe Way stew, not Sharpe Way soup. It is Sharpe Way stew because stew is meatier. And this has meat. It absolutely is. And if you like it, you like what I'm saying, what I'm doing, do me a favor, like, comment, and share. It matters. Let people know that we're out here. How in the world are people going to know what we're doing when we can't go outside and hug and smooch people anymore? When we need to build our own media? Stop complaining about it. Like, comment, share, do something, damn you, and make it actually happen. If you want to, please like me on Facebook. It does matter. It's not Larry Sharpe. Please, that's good too. But go to Sharpe Way. Also, make sure you like me on Twitter. And also make sure you like me on YouTube. All of those are important. Please make sure you do that. But I have something even more important. I have someone with me this evening who I've met more than once, and he still likes me. Amazing. Uh-huh. Yes, he still, he says he likes me. It may not be true. I think he's not lying to me. The man himself, someone who is a comedian, a presenter, someone who many of you will remember from so many cool videos, Andrew Heaton. How are you, sir?
I am living the dream within the confines of lockdown.
There we go.
I'm delighted to be on your show and to hang out with you, Larry. I'm a big fan.
I appreciate that. The feeling is mutual. For those who want more on Andrew, head over to Mighty Heaton. He's not regular Heaton. He's Mighty Heaton.
No, I'm blowing the other Heatons out of the water.
Those guys are chumps. I mean, they are such chumps.
Larry, you look fantastic. Quarantine suits you.
It does.
You seem so much more energetic and focused right now than I have been for the last month.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm a Marine. I'm in my bunker. It's all good. Just waiting for orders to get out and go back on the offensive. That's all. I'm training, ready to go back on the offensive. Right? Some things we never stop. So anyway, how have you been?
Well, pretty good. I moved you and I met out in California. I had just moved out to California. I picked an auspicious time to move to Hollywood for networking. I picked a month before the coronavirus hit.
That was bad timing.
So that's put a little bit of a damper in my networking ability. It's also hurt dating a little bit. But if you're single during quarantine, this is like losing the biggest round of musical chairs in all of human history. Like it's just like, man, I picked the wrong year.
Yeah, but if you're married and now you have to spend every day with your wife,
that is a good point. I think really the only ideal situation is like newly married or dating someone down the hall. I think
there we go. That's the one. Dating someone down the hall, home run.
But overall though, like I'm doing pretty well now. Last month was kind of rough, but this month, like I figured out I'm doing exercise every morning. I FaceTime a lot. Like I figured out like I am a cripplingly extroverted people person. I need so much social I was not getting social stimulus enough pre-quarantine, but I figured out if I hang out with cool people like you, if I do more FaceTime, it kind of keeps me level doing game night with family, stuff like that. So it's been good for reconnecting with people.
Absolutely. No, I double down because I'm a consultant, right? So if I'm not going out and consulting, I lose a big chunk of my work, right? So coronavirus has took a big chunk out of my income. I do some coaching, which is a smaller part, which I can do like this, but everything else is consulting. So I have time. That's one thing I've got. So literally I am live 8 times a week. I'm not even joking. I do 4 libertarian shows and 4 of these, sometimes 5 of these. This week I did 5 Sharpe Ways. This is my 5th one this week. Every day at 7. And I'm on a podcast at least 3 a week. So
I getting other podcasts or your own podcast?
Other podcasts. Yeah, I'm on other podcasts. All the time. I'm constantly doing it. So
it sounds like one day in the life of Larry Sharpe is equal to about 1 month in the life of Andrew Heaton. Like if I can figure out how to extract like 8% Larry and drop it. I wouldn't want to be full Larry. I feel like that would exhaust me. I don't think I can handle that for more than a month. But if I can be like a quarter Larry for a month, oh my God, I get so much done.
It's a lot. It is. It absolutely is a lot. I'm trying to make all this stuff happen. So you have a lot of fans, by the way, who keep popping up. I mean, so that's a good thing.
Guys, I'm seeing this. Joey, thank you for the shout out on the Christmas videos.
Absolutely.
And, John McLaughlin, everybody else.
It's all good. I love what everyone is popping up. It's amazing. But the thing that my wife is not a libertarian. Well, she's becoming one. This
Is that what you keep telling her, or is that
no? This coronavirus. At one point, she's on Facebook, and she's watching like a lot of her friends in trouble. We live in Queens, right? So across the street from us is stores, right? That's where we live. There are stores across the street from us. Our deli is there, computers there, computer repair guy's there, accountant is there, dentist is there, right? They're all closed. So my wife finally goes, I'm so tired of this. You know what's crushing everything? It isn't the virus, it's the government. And I said, your transformation is complete. That's it.
It's like that scene in Braveheart where the old king tricks his son into murdering someone, and he's like, "I hate you," and he's like, "Now you're ready to be king, son.
Now you're ready." Yes, exactly right. So, so she's now, becoming that. And one thing she loved is she loves your videos.
Thank you.
Well, yes, she loves your videos. Yes, and she was literally I'm going to guess 25 or 30-year Democrat who became a I don't care, and still officially is a I don't care. But I think we already got her. So yes. So I actually the one that she liked a lot, and this is a funny one. It was if you don't mind me playing this one, it was your presidential candidates. I'm going to play this one so you see it.
I'm never going to object to you playing stuff I did and saying nice things about me. Like I will.
There we go.
100%. I love self-indulgence.
Easy day. Let me put this up real fast if I can. Hold on. All right.
Schwartzmore, come on down to Crazy Bucks Democratic National Committee, where we are massively overstocked on presidential candidates, and we've got deals you can't afford to pass up, like a nationwide $50 minimum wage, free college tuition, Medicare for all, or $1,000 cash to every American every month of the year.
This was all considered crazy, wasn't it? Now it's all mainstream. Everything you said in this video, you had to put on a funky jacket and laugh and scream and act like it's so dumb. And now everyone's like, oh, yeah.
I heard that Biden came on to the $15 minimum wage thing. And I was so, because like to tip the day, like I only purport to be an independent. And I know I'm going to hobble myself with the audience, but I only claim that because I've got all sorts of scattered ideas and things, right?
No worries.
But I'm very much a regulatory hawk. Like I would fund a social safety net, right? But generally, like my ideal would be like an actual like Scandinavia where they have higher taxes and a social safety net, but a way freer market. And the minimum wage is, and pick any Scandinavian country.
Denmark?
Zero. It's zero in Denmark. It's zero everywhere. None of them have a minimum wage, and they have really good standards of living. And so like Biden signed on to that, and I was like, I thought I was looking at you versus Warren going like, clearly that guy.
No, they've all gone here. Just that's it. It's all the thing. And I can't believe how we were laughing at this. This was a joke, wasn't it? This is like Idiocracy. The movie became real. This is becoming real. It's horrible. All right. I love the other guy too. Let me just keep going.
We've got so many giveaways, we're practically giving them away.
Howdy, folks. Steve Hightower here. Big Steve's Republican National Committee. And we basically have two options for you. So if you like old white guys, jackpot. Tougher immigration restrictions.
Yeah, but what happened? If you like old white guys, jackpot. And what did the Democrats give us?
An old white guy.
Old white guy. This video is real, right? Like, I'm sure you and your buddy here were laughing your asses off when you made it, thinking, this will never happen. Ha, ha, ha. And it's real. It's crazy. It's crazy.
We'll get them for you. Crippling trade war, we'll do that too. Big bailout to cover all the losses from the crippling trade war. You can have that. Or you can have the complete opposite of all of those things. It could go either way.
No credit, bad credit, recent violent felony conviction. You can still have it all.
Yes, this is not a joke. I mean, literally, the bailouts just happened, right? From the crippling trade war. What you said actually happened. This is a documentary.
And we were like let me think, didn't we just, not even like pre-corona, like we ended up bailing out farmers more than I think the automotive bailouts.
Yes.
And what was unquestionably something we did.
Right.
Like unquestionably a policy thing.
Absolutely. So we did a trade war, hurt the farmers, so we bailed out the farmers. Yes, literally what you said. Literally what you said. And now it's everything. Everything is take everything. We don't care who you are. Take it all. It's true. This is crazy.
Subsidies for green energy. Free universal pre-K.
Yes.
Paid parental leave.
What about
12 new Supreme Court justices?
Taxes, we'll cut them. Regulations, we'll slash them. National debt,
let's circle back to that later.
No, we won't. Ever. We will never circle back to that. Ever. It is insane.
Math is hard. You can always kick it to the next guy until that guy dies.
Absolutely. Just keep going, keep going, keep going.
but if somebody kneels at a football game, we're totally gonna stick it to that guy on Twitter. So if you value freedom and equality under the law for all Americans, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, I promise you, we might bomb Mexico. It could go the other way too. So
Free U.S. Treasury bonds to every newborn
Here
child
it comes.
in America. Something about banking in a post office.
That's coming.
Break up.
Oh God.
That's coming.
That is the one thing that irritates me the most of everything in that video. I really don't like post offices. I don't like going into them.
Yes.
And like that with Sanders, I get the like, you know, everybody should have healthcare. Like no one should die because they cannot. Like I agree. Let's come up with a good system here. Like I disagree with I disagree with the solution.
Right.
But the post office banking thing, it's like I can't fathom a worse way to run a bank than to have the post office.
I actually had to work on this, right? I mean, this is part of his plan, right? So 2 days ago or a day ago, was this last week? I've forgotten. I've done so much Bernie stuff, I've forgotten. It was probably about last week. I was talking about the idea of, you know, how do we help out free and fair banking, right? That's a serious thing. And one of the reasons why we don't deal with banking is because most of our civil asset forfeiture comes from poor people who don't trust banks, right? So,
Really? Okay.
oh yeah, right. So you can't do civil asset forfeiture for rich people. They don't carry cash,
Right. Yeah.
right? They don't carry cash.
Yeah.
Who carries cash? Immigrants, poor people, drug warriors.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right? Immigrants don't trust banks. Poor people don't even understand banking, and drug warriors can't use can't use banks. That's it. That's where the cash comes from. So why would you make a good banking industry for the poor? Well, then I can't use my law enforcement as a profit center, right? Of course. So the idea, the post office, most people who are either poor or immigrants trust the postal service.
Okay.
That's the reason for it.
Okay. All right. So
So-
there's actually some method to this.
There is. Bernie isn't crazy, right? Well,
Right,
yes,
okay.
he is. But that policy isn't crazy. How about that, right? The concept.
Oh,
So-
okay. See, honestly, I just figured that he was like, I hate banks. I like
No.
public things. So I'm just going to give it to I'd rather the post office handle it than banks. But he
No.
there was a rationale to it.
It
Okay.
was, and his policy was the idea of basic banking. And I agree. My issue is I cannot allow the post office to do anything except basic banking, because once you shift to past basic banking, then it starts loaning out money. Then it becomes predatory.
Okay.
You can guarantee that will wind up becoming a tax on the poor. You can guarantee that, right? But the issues, and I saw this happen in my own world back in the 80s when I joined the Marine Corps. They had just begun the idea of direct deposit. Direct deposit was new, right? And most of the people, we were 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. We had no idea how to balance a checkbook.
Mm-hmm.
No clue. And all of a sudden, we had to balance a checkbook. I saw how many people in my platoon didn't even trust the bank, didn't understand the bank. When I first got in, people still got paid in cash. The guy
Really?
came around and said, here's your $300 for your paycheck. Thank you. That still happened, right? So, and then it went to checks, and then it went to direct deposit. So when direct deposit happened, a lot of people literally had their careers ruined for bouncing checks. And their answer was, well, I called the bank and the bank said I had money, so I wrote a check. Other people would say, well, of course I had money. I had checks. That is literally what they thought. As silly as that sounds, now this is also about 30 years ago. So, but as silly as that sounds, people actually thought that. Their careers were being ruined because they didn't understand banking. So that's the concept behind the idea of simple banking, right? A post office will simply be a place for a checking account and a savings account. Most people who are either immigrants or many of them in poor communities don't have either. They don't have a checking account. They don't have a savings account. That's why check cashing places are everywhere.
Got it. Okay.
Because there's no place to cash your check. You don't have an account.
Right.
You can't deposit your check. You don't have an account.
Okay.
So you go to a check cashing place. The problem is that puts check cashing places out of business if everybody is going to the post office.
Wait, hold on. Did Larry Sharpe just get me to agree with Bernie Sanders about banking? Like,
See
what universe am I living in?
Am I good at what I do or what?
Yeah.
I am good at what I do.
All right. I'll quit making fun of Sanders for that one. Okay.
Yes, I'm good at what I do. Yes. So I do think as a general rule, that concept's good. We just can't make it a bank. That's the problem. We just let people have basic ideas.
Basically, is he just wanting to have post offices function as check cashing centers and Baileys for saving money?
He wanted it to be like a basic bank, a savings and loan.
Right. Yeah.
Like savings and loan, basically, which I'm actually not against.
Yeah.
I'm not against, because my hope is, right, if we do this right, and this is the bully pulpit, if we actually allow this to happen, most people won't go to the post office for banking. Most won't. But those who don't trust banks will. Then they will want more services. As long as we stop the post office from any more services, they will then shift over to a bank.
That makes sense.
And that becomes a way of getting people who are poor and don't understand finance to begin to understand their finances better.
Okay, I am now on board with the Sanders postal banking plan, which boggles my mind.
Aren't you so glad you joined me this evening?
I am. I learned something.
There we go. So so that banking thing wasn't so bad. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Nice. This is next time I get into a conversation with my Bernie bro friends, I'll have an olive branch of like, hey, you know what? I came around on something.
Absolutely. But it will also help, as people talk about, it will help end civil asset forfeiture. It will help.
Which would be a great thing to get rid of.
Absolutely. It will help. It won't be the end of it, but it will assist in getting rid of it, because then people can use basic banking services.
Just walking opportunities for predation.
Yes. And the other issue is, if you do it, you have to get rid of know your customer laws.
What are know your customer laws?
KYC laws and know your customer laws. These are laws that came basically on 9/11, which says every bank is responsible to know everything about every person who banks with them because they might be a terrorist. And they just make everything bad. It's another reason why people don't trust banks, because there are so many things you have to fill out. And if you fill out the form incorrectly, that's a government form. That's perjury. And I'm ignorant because I'm either an immigrant or from a poor community, an underserved community. So I fill out the form incorrectly. Literally, I'm going to jail. So why would I do that? My friends tell me that. I stop going to banks.
Yeah.
Of course I do. I'd rather go to the loan shark or the payday loan guy who doesn't care. Right?
Two follow-up questions to that. One, were people prosecuted in any significant number on that? Because sometimes there's situations where there will be a law that you're like, oh, that would suck, but the prosecutors never actually do it.
No, this is in the add-on.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in the add-on. This is not they're not searching for this, but they use it when they can, because what prosecutors do is they go, oh, he's bad. Where did he get his money from? Let's check this out. This is wrong. Throw that on top.
But and then so your main concern with it is that it's a security precaution that has a undue effect on icing poor people out of banks,
and it's useless.
Fair.
All right. So now you know your customer. Great. Did it stop terrorism? No. So all you've done is made a worse system for people that slows down my banking, makes my time harder, makes everything worse, increases the odds I've lied to the government, increases the odds I've become a criminal, and doesn't stop terrorism. And on top of it, what if I am a terrorist and I put the money in and I do it and now I blow something up? Great. Now it's easier for you to catch me, but I'm a terrorist. What does it matter? I've either left the country or I got blown up in my thing. It doesn't matter. So even the idea of catching me is irrelevant, right? Did the 9/11 hijackers think, I hope I don't get caught? They weren't thinking that. Ball game was over, right? Everyone knew they had all their names. Yay. So what? So it's useless. NKYC laws, period. Because if you don't, now what happens is if someone's an immigrant, they're going to be afraid to go to the bank to give them all of their information. Another reason why immigrants don't use banks. So instead, make it a post office, NKYC laws. Now immigrants can come, understand banking, trust banking. Once they get better banking, they move to the next. What is that? That's owning your own finances. That's pulling yourself out of a rental society, a rental mindset, into an ownership mindset. And that's what I want.
Which I have yet to do, but aspire to.
We're all trying.
At some point, I would love to own a yard. That would be great.
Be nice. Own something. At least own your finances. It's something.
Do you, Larry, out of curiosity, where are you on like UBI or something like that? Like
UBI is everything. My God, everybody wants UBI now. No, I'm not. I've been against UBI for years.
Okay, I was just like, whoa.
No, everybody's for it. I get it. Right now, you probably know I'm running for the VP.
I am aware of that, and I think you'll do a bang-up job.
Thank you, sir. And Judge Gray, who is my preferred candidate, is for NIT, which is negative income tax, which is similar to UBI.
Somebody on the message board was talking about earlier from a prior show. But yeah. Please walk me through that.
Yeah, there's three different parts of this right there. And actually, Amash, who is also popular, he's for like regular. He's for the bad UBI. So there's three different types. The first one is negative income tax. Negative income tax means if you make less than $30,000, you pay no tax at all. Right? You only pay tax if you make over 30, and you only pay tax on the 30,000 and $1. Right? That's all you paid on that. And it's a flat fee, 10%, 15%, whatever's the number. That's it. Under 30,000, you pay nothing. If you're under 30,000, the government gives you a check. If you make $0, the government gives you a check of $1,250 every month. That's to survive. Good luck. For every dollar you make, you lose 50 cents of your stipend. This way, it encourages you to eventually work your way out. There's an encouragement to work your way out, or if you want to work your way out, you can. Right? You can do that if you want to. The concept is it will help homelessness, because if it helps homelessness, people who make that kind of money, they'll make tiny houses to help people have small homes. They will do that on purpose. If cities agree with this, the concept is if you want to make less money, there's no requirement for minimum wage, because if you make less, the government supplements the rest. The minimum wage laws go away. But the biggest thing with this issue is all other forms of public assistance go away. No welfare, no food stamps, no Social Security, no disability. All the dollars spent on the administration go away completely. That's the concept. That's for. That's NIT, negative income tax. Then there's the actual idea of UBI. UBI is a bit different. That concept, and that's more of a Mises Caucus type idea concept, right? Where everybody gets a flat amount. Everybody, doesn't matter how much money you make, they all get whatever, $3,000 a month or whatever it is. Even Bill Gates gets it. Everybody gets it, no matter what. And all of the infrastructure goes away. All of the bureaucracy goes away. Right? I don't like that one as much. I'd rather have negative income tax if I have a choice. Then there's the one we're gonna get, which is the worst one of them all. That's the Yang one, which is everyone gets $1,000 a month. Everybody, even Bill Gates, gets $1,000 a month, and we get to keep all of the bureaucracy plus the disability plus everything. You just get $1,000. But now the newest one is you get $2,000.
Well, to push back a bit on Yang, with Yang, it's either or, is it not?
No. With Yang, it's on top. You get everything, and now the new one is $2,000, all on top. You just throw $2,000 on everything.
I thought you would know better than me, but I thought that the deal was that he basically, like there's the welfare cliff, right? And people talk about this, that if you add up all of the benefits I'm getting in housing and childcare and healthcare and all of this, it ends up being, I don't know, $45,000 a year or something. And were I to get off welfare, I'm now earning $28,000. I just lost, $15,000.
100%. The current system is a disaster, right?
Right. It's demonstrable.
Yes,
there was actually a really good episode of
that someone's lazy. They're not lazy. They're smart.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. There was a really good episode of evil free market right wing group Radio Lab. Or no, it was This American Life, which no one claims is like a super free market group. But This American Life had an episode where there was a woman talking about her her child has a learning disability, and
Yep.
she gets a stipend as a result of this. And you could hear this poor lady going like, we're not very wealthy. Like we're like, she's a single mom. She's very poor. And she's like,
Yep.
I really want my kid to succeed, but if he starts doing better in school, we don't get that money. So I kind of have to hope he doesn't do any better, and I'm not going to take any steps to help. And I was like, what a horrible position we put that lady in, where
Yes.
she can either we're either going to give you money, but your kid has to fail.
Absolutely.
So like that kind of thing's a microcosm. My understanding with Yang was that like he was thinking that because someone rationally is getting, $45,000 in benefits or whatever, they're not going to want to jump down. So my thought was it was a 2-track where you either stick with the benefits you're having or you get the $1,000 a month.
That's not how I understood it. And how it is now, what's going through Congress now is just $2,000 until the crisis is over. Just add $2,000 on top of everything. Now, the issue is the idea of negative income tax, whatever the case may be, Medicaid, Medicare would still exist, right? That would still exist.
Well, I think you should call it, instead of calling it negative income tax, I think you should call it smart UBI. Like, is the concept the same? You're
I am so stealing that.
Because for 99% of the people, when they're hearing UBI, they're just hearing like everybody gets some money. That's what they're thinking, right? And so if you say negative income tax, it sounds like you're taking income, like it doesn't compute very well. Smart UBI, you're like, I'm for UBI. I just want to do it smart. That's it.
You are on the team. That's it. You've been recruited.
Got my PR gig.
You are now. It's it. See, that's it. I love it. Yes, yes.
I might well be.
You are now.
Eric,
I love
Eric.
it. Absolutely, I absolutely love it. So yeah, so that's the idea. So I've never been a fan, but to be fair with you, and this makes some people angry when I say it, but if I have a choice of a candidate who can make some impact, who will end the wars, who will end the war on drugs, who will make my life better. But if it's Amash who wants his form of UBI, or if it's Gray who wants the smart UBI, well done, who wants smart UBI, I'll take it. I'm in, right? And as a vice president candidate, my job is a cheerleader, and I will cheerlead them right through. I'm 100% in. I talk about the 80-20 rule all the time, right? This is back from when I'm consulting, I talk about 80-20. Reagan said, say again?
Pareto principle.
Correct. Yes, exactly right. So, and even Reagan said, if someone agrees with you 80% of the time, they're your ally, not your enemy. So 80-20 rule, every presidential candidate, libertarian or not, if they're not libertarian, it's going to be the 10-90 rule. I'm going to agree like 10% and hate 90%. But if it's a libertarian, the odds are I'm going to agree 80%, 20 I'm not. I'm good. I didn't love everything about what Gary Johnson said, but I 100% supported him. I wish he was president now. Absolutely. I'll take him over Trump, take him over Biden, take him over Hillary, 100%. So if I got to deal with smart UBI or UBI, I'm in. All good. Not going to fight it.
Do you within the pantheon of things you just mentioned of, the drug wars, that kind of thing, what are like the top one or two for you? Like I asked this because one of the things I find interesting about the last couple of years is like I have never been a Bernie fan or a Warren fan. Like there's just something that really rankles me about what strikes me as a very statist, like command economy mindset. That said, though, like based on what I know of Bernie, he is not really big on foreign interventions. He voted against the war for Iraq. Honestly, I don't know his foreign policy position that well because he only talks about economics.
No, there are two things that Bernie and I agree upon almost completely. Two things, almost totally: foreign war intervention, criminal justice.
Great.
Those
are actually my top two things. So,
which is why I tell Bernie people to come to us. This is why I've done over 4 hours of pro-Bernie work for that. And when I went over criminal justice, I didn't even have to have a plan. I just said, yes, let's just take that and give it to us. Yes. There was literally nothing to say. It was an exact yes. What he wants, fair. He wants stop the war on drugs. He wants stop civil asset forfeiture. He wants all that stuff. So in those two places, Bernie and I, right there.
I suspect that you'll make some inroads too. Like when Bernie dropped out, I was looking at Twitter and there were all of these refrains from people that were really disappointed Bernie dropped out. And they were going like, so now we got to choose between Biden, who's like basically a Republican, and Trump, who is one. And I was like, yeah, kind of like that's, I do have my preference between Biden and Trump. That said, though, like you got a corporate Democrat and a Republican.
That's true. I'm agreeing completely. It's very odd that's where we are right now, right? It's very odd. Absolutely. So anyway, my point being, there are absolutely things that Bernie and us could agree upon. There's a couple things we can. Look, they're not going to get those things with Biden. So come to us and get pieces of it. Get chunks of it, right? Get something that you want, right? So it's basic customer service. I can't solve all your problems. I can solve this one. That's it. This one, I got you. No worries. All right, let me go a little bit further on this one. I love this one. Hold on. Let me pop this one up real fast if I can.
He was a Republican before that, and the other actually started as a Democrat and then became a Republican and then joined the Reform Party.
Yep.
And then back to a Democrat.
Yep.
And then Republican again.
Yep.
And then Independent. But now I guess he's a Republican.
There we go.
So you can trust us.
$10 billion in slavery reparations. $9 trillion for climate change stuff. It's all real. And we're going to overturn Citizens United.
Because we have to get money out of politics.
So go down to Route.
This I love. I love that you actually said that. You went down the throw money at everything, but we have to get money out of politics.
That,
good.
I had a conversation with Thad Russell, a former congressman from Michigan, here a few years ago, and I was talking to him about I think campaign finance. We were talking about I was coming up with all these schemes of like, well, what if we what if we we have term limits that happen at such and such, and he was like, look, he goes, if you make a better maze, you just get smarter rats. And I was like, I think that's true. Like, I think like as long as you've got trillions of dollars that you get to deal out if it's in power, and you have the ability to make regulations that hurts or hinders certain industries, there's no way around it. There are going to be people that want to control that money. Like if you want to actually change the equation, you got to shrink that money.
Or without having to try to stop it, because we've tried that already, right? There are more regulations now on campaign finance than there's ever been. And there's more money in politics than there's ever been. More regulations has actually never made less money ever. The reverse is true.
And I think in particular, the last 4 years really should have put that to bed for a couple of reasons. Like one, Michael Bloomberg spent.
Hold on one second. This is my wife saying, I would actually buy a car from you. She's watching.
Georgia, I'm going to steal a car and sell it to you. I want to.
There we go. Exactly right. Yes.
So Michael Bloomberg spent what, like $1 billion or something, and he got
$500 million.
$500 million, and he got Guam. That's what he was able to buy.
He did.
And conversely,
it's not a bad set of islands. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But not a heavyweight. And then Trump, conversely, Trump underspent everybody in the last election. He neck and neck through the primary. He underspent everybody significantly, and he underspent Hillary Clinton. And one of the things I point out to my friends that are gung ho about overturning Citizens United is if you right now, if you've got a Jeb Bush or someone like that is just kind of boring. Their only weapon is to go to dinners and talk to people and get money. You pull that out of the equation. What becomes the currency of politics? Being a flaming weirdo who says crazy shit on TV, which is exactly what Trump did, and it's how he got into the meeting. See, the more campaign finance you get, my theory is you get more Trumps. Is that everybody starts? Well, I can only spend X amount of money. I guess I'll just get media attention by saying crazy stuff all the time, and that'd be the name of the day.
The other thing that happens is that you want to get rid of money in politics. You can. It's possible. It's just not easy. That's the issue. It's just not easy at all, but you can do it. And there's two things you have to do. Number one, you have to remove all campaign finance laws. All of them. Not one law, except for one thing. Only one. Must be 100% transparent. That's the first step. Everything's transparent. So basically, I've got to wear on my sleeve everybody who's giving me money. That's number one. It's going to be public information who gave you anything. And they give you whatever they want. But here's the second piece. you do have to reverse Citizens United. It is a silly and completely unconstitutional for many reasons. Let me tell you why. You can't. I'll tell you what, Larry. I'm gonna turn you again, Andrew. I'm telling you, I'm gonna turn you again.
All right.
There is no way a corporation can be a person. Why? If a corporation is a person has First Amendment rights, that means it also has Fifth Amendment rights. It does not. It doesn't. A corporation may not take the Fifth. It can't.
Right.
If it can take the Fifth, then it can use the First. It doesn't get all of those rights, in which case it can vote. It can't vote. Not affected by the 14th Amendment.
See, but I think that when we say a corporation is a person, we're really just making a verbal shortcut. I mean, what that really means is
allowing. This is the problem. This is why. This is why it doesn't work.
Hold on. If I might finish just that one sentence.
Go ahead.
When we say a corporation is a person, at least in regards to campaign speech, what we're saying is that your individual free speech rights do not cease when they're aggregated. So if Larry and I decide that we're going to form a group that talks about how Bernie Sanders, how postal banking reform is better than we thought it was or whatever,
sure.
Suddenly, because you and I are doing it in tandem, we're not subject to undue restrictions. That our individual voice is the same regardless of how many people we link up with. That's my understanding of the bolts of that ruling.
That's what was supposed to happen. But remember something, how laws actually work. And lawyers say this. It is reverse of humanity. In humanity, we care what someone was thinking, or we even decide what they were thinking. In law, they actually say this. It doesn't matter what they were thinking. It matters what they wrote, which is insanely stupid, anti-human, but the way we do things.
I disagree there too. I'm an originalist in jurisprudence.
It's horrible. It's horrible. So I wrote something stupid, and now it's law. No, It's stupid. Here's what I'm telling you. Two things. Number one, a corporation should not be a person. That's the problem. If you're going to tell me you may create a committee, which is part of your First Amendment right as free speech, to associate with people who agree with ideas and content that you agree with, I'm with you. Then that means you can create an entity, not a person, an entity which you've all agreed to associate with, which you have with your First Amendment, and we all agree to talk about this political issue. And we may put our money into this entity to push our politics. 100%. No worries. Now, if that is a private club, Knights of Columbus, insert thing here, who cares? Do your own thing. But if you're saying, no, the Knights of Columbus is not a private club. The Knights of Columbus, I'm making this up, is a political committee that represents people who believe in a political ideology or concept, and we're going to now use that to move political thought. No worries. Make it transparent and to see every single person in that committee and how much money to put into it. You do that, I'm good.
Okay.
Because if it's going to go into the public arena, which is going to affect me and you, we need to know. Period. You get no anonymity. And once you make it a person, you do. That's why we have super PACs. That's why super PACs exist. Because they all of a sudden get privacy. How do you get privacy? Because you're a person. You shouldn't get privacy. You're not a person.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment. Just to play devil's advocate on the privacy thing, because I think daylight's the best disinfectant, right? 100%. Like I agree with that, and I'm pro transparency, but like I can't think of situations where like this next election is going to be very controversial.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of people worried that if Judge Gray or Amash takes it, that they play a spoiler.
Sure.
I could see somebody living in a bright blue city or a bright red city going, if I donate money to the
No bright red cities.
There's no bright red. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. bright red county.
There we go. Yes.
But I could see someone going like, I really want to donate, $100 to Jim Gray or Justin Amash, but like I'm afraid that if that's public, I'm going to be like it's going to impact my career. If I do that, like I could foresee that kind of thing happening.
Absolutely.
I can understand why some people would want like at least like maybe a threshold of below 100. You wouldn't have to report it.
Yeah, if you wanted to go that low, fine, because then that wouldn't be an issue. If you want to say, which right now is current law, if it's under $100, you basically don't have to report it. I'm okay with that. Keep that.
Okay.
But
you're thinking like $1 million chunk or something like that. I would agree with that.
Say it's over 100, whatever. You insert number, right? Whatever. Okay. It's over 100. It's over 100. I'm fine with that. But once that happens, your name needs to be there. Two things happen. Could you imagine if every single heavy hitter PAC that's filled with literally tens of millions of dollars that's doing attack ads on every other candidate, we knew exactly who was giving that money? That would change everything. Not just that, the reason why PACs, and this is, again, because of stupid law, the reason why PACs do attack ads is not just because they tend to work, but because legally, because of the dumb laws, they can't coordinate with the campaign.
Yeah, that's McCain-Feingold, like
insanely stupid.
If you've got, let's just assume for purposes of this that Romney's a good guy, just for our purposes,
right?
Because he seems like a nice dude, and he wouldn't be okay doing horrible mudflinging. Too bad he doesn't control that. We've disconnected the PACs from the actual campaign.
It's not even can't control it. They can't do a positive ad for their guy. That's against the law. That will look like they are. Okay. Yes.
I'm adding that to my satchel of data. I didn't realize that. That's a good point.
So by default, we've set a system that forces PACs to do negative ads. They have no choice. They can't do anything else.
Yeah.
So they do. But if we instead simply said, as long as I know who's doing the ads, you can do a positive ad on the amazing new governor in California, Andrew Heaton. You can then go ahead and do that ad and show how awesome he is. You could do that. You don't have to do mudslinging. You change that plus add a third party, mudslinging almost goes away. Because mudslinging only works when there's two sides.
Yeah, I'll add to that. If we were to actually have a ranked choice voting system and an alternate vote system, like the way it works right now is, listen, I know you don't like our guy. You got to vote for him though, because that guy's an enemy of humanity. And and it's all about fear and hatred. And we're going to offer you solace from all of this by being very tribal, but vote for the lesser of two evils. If you have it ranked where it's I'm going to vote for Bernie or I'm going to vote for Ron Paul or whoever. He probably won't win, but he's my top choice. After that, I'll go for the home team, blue team or red team or whatever. At that point, red team and blue team actually have to make a pitch to you other than
that's correct.
You should vote for our guy. They actually have to reach out to you based on shared values or policy prescriptions as opposed to just rampant fear.
100%. 100%. I'm with you. See, so if you were able to get rid of that, if you were able to get rid of the PACs and corporations not being people, then all of a sudden you just create committees, and I'm okay with the committee. You make it a committee, $100 or under, and you don't have to report. $100 or more, or over $100, you got to report, and you report. And you know what? Here's what also happens. I know this because I'm a third party, right? I had people who would have loved to support someone like me with $10 million. They can't. It's against the law.
Right.
They can't. I have no chance. A guy like me, I'm not going to be able to get 10 million people to give me $25. But I can get two people to give me $5 million apiece. Yeah, I can.
Could you get them to form a PAC?
They wouldn't. Well, no, they wouldn't form a PAC. That's the problem. I'd rather instead just be legal, and people would know that. You mean that billionaire Andrew Heaton out of California just wrote Larry Sharpe a check for $5 million to run for governor of New York? Wow. And I'd probably say it. I'd wear your name on my back if I had to. I don't care. Doesn't matter, right? I'll wear Mighty Heaton hats. All good. Don't really care. But my point is, at least that becomes transparent. And now people can now judge me by who backs me, which is how you should judge me. You should be looking and saying, is Heaton a good guy? No, that guy's crooked as hell. So I'm not voting for Larry.
Blood diamonds, folks. That's where all our money comes from.
Absolutely.
In fact, if we get green diamonds, we just shoot people for fun.
That's correct. I know that about you. And so anybody you back, I'm out. But my point being, at least that would be open and honest, right? So once you do corporations of people, now corporations have extra power. They shouldn't have extra power. And that's my problem. They have extra power. So anyway, Rebecca also wants to wear Mighty Heaton headgear.
Thank you, Rebecca.
See that? She does love you. Yes. So in any case, I do love that. I do love that idea. So did I at least turn you a little bit on the corporations and people thing?
A little bit. I'll say, like, at the very least, you gave me a very good factoid about federal law actually encouraging some of this partisan, hyperbolic bile going on. Like, that's worth knowing that there's a legal structure in place that's causing a lot of the rancor in our current system.
If you've noticed, whenever I talk about policy, my policies are never force people to do X. My policies are also always create the environment that will encourage people to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So whenever I see people doing bad things, I always assume the environment's bad. That's my assumption, right? Mm-hmm. That's how I look at policy. And again, I came to government from business. I'm a business consultant. So I always know that when stuff doesn't work, it's a shitty business environment. That's what I have to fix. I'm the fix-it guy. That's what I do when I go to business. I'm the guy that fires people and goes to the other office and changes stuff and tries to fix things. That's me. Well, I'm sorry. That's me when there's no corona. Right. That's not me now. Now I'm the guy who sits in his basement and talks to you. But I used to be that guy.
But again, it's an environmental problem.
It is. That's the problem. Yes. So that's how I take it, and that's my head. I assume that people react to their environment, right? Better environment, better people. It's simply how it works. If you change your environment, the bad people either become neutral or they leave. And that's in any business environment. If you make a good business environment, the bad employees or bad people either become neutral, they don't become good, or they leave. Both are a win.
Can you give an example of like a policy, like, so let's say economically, where you would do that, where you think changing the environment would sort of neutralize bad actors?
Do you mean in a business?
Sure. Yeah. Like, I'd be curious for that, just because it's an interesting concept. And I'll make sure I understand.
I'll give you one. Sure. I'll give you one small thing. And this is anyone who's in business. Change your leadership style to do one thing. When someone does something wrong, never say, who told you to do that? Instead say, why'd you do that?
Okay.
That minor nuance tells me when I'm listening in the business, when I'm watching things happen, how it works. When you say, who told you to do that? You've just said, please blame somebody. I'm concerned about blame. Who is to blame? I want to punish. That's what your brain has just said.
Right.
Now you have a zero tolerance policy. Now you have issues that will hurt people all that time, right?
Yeah.
Instead, you say, why did you do it? And the person goes, well, because Bob told me. I know Bob told you. Why'd you do it? That now encourages it responsible. I don't want blame. I don't want to assign blame. I want to assign responsibility. That will change the entire way people speak back and forth. You will find people stop doing this.
The being careful about, like, very tiny words is something that I've really thought about the last year.
Oh, yes.
So may I shamelessly plug something to your audience?
Please go ahead.
I have a podcast. It's called The Political Orphanage. It's every week.
Somebody knows that. Yes.
And I think you guys would enjoy it. If you're enjoying the conversation with me and Larry, I think you enjoy. I think Catherine Mangu-Ward's going to be on next week. I think we're going to talk about Justin Amash. So up you guys, alley. I had on Peter Boghossian a few months ago. Now, Peter Boghossian is best known for doing what was called the grievance studies, where he set up a number of kind of dummy studies with upper level academia to kind of show how ridiculous it was getting. But I didn't talk to him about that. He wrote a book called How to Have Impossible Conversations, which made a very big impact on me because I work in political media. I'm running around, I think, a lot of the same spheres you are, Larry. But on top of that, I'm also running around in entertainment circles, where I, being the free market guy, am generally the odd man out.
Yes.
And so I have to deal with it all the time. And I also have to deal with like Larry, for example. I've never seen you be mean to anybody. You're a very positive person. You assume good intentions on other people. That is not always the case that I find when I'm talking to other people.
Yes.
And look, some of the things that have really helped me in terms of just avoiding unnecessary bile, just avoiding contempt, is like when I'm talking to somebody, and I'll never lie about this, but generally I don't have to. We're getting into some kind of policy, and I'll go, I can tell you really want to help people, and I can tell it's important you be a good person. So, like, noting that, and what I've done is I've communicated for the rest of the conversation we're having, you're not on trial.
Right.
I think you're a good person, and I want you to know that this is not about whether you're good or not. You're good. You're fine. I want to talk to you about solutions to this thing now, and being able to switch. And I'm still working on this from you to we. Of like, well, now what would you do if this happened? How would you do that? Like, well, what do we do with that? What do we do if this happens? Because I feel that way. Like I genuinely feel like I'm trying to promulgate ideas and I'm trying to find solutions, and I don't view myself as on a team, and I don't view myself as fighting other teams. I'm trying to work with people. The 80-20 thing you brought up earlier.
Yes.
Like, there are strange bedfellows on criminal justice reform. I don't
100% there are.
Anybody, right? So it is a we, and those little tweaks make such a difference.
100%. Yes, I'm with you. So I hope that was an interesting concept on how to deal with that.
Yeah. No, great.
There's tons of things you can do. Getting rid of all zero tolerance policies. Zero tolerance policies always make things worse without exception. They have never made things better ever. They always make things worse. You should never have any zero tolerance policies ever, nothing but bad. The second you do that, you encourage people to lie. Remember something, whenever you demand perfection, you will always get deception. Guaranteed. There's another 100% rule. When you demand perfection, you will get deception because people are not perfect. Therefore, they lie. See how it works. So zero tolerance, bad idea. Perfection, bad idea.
Okay. Now, can you jump it over into politics and give an example of removing something or implementing something that would create a good environment?
A bazillion of them. I don't even know which one to start with. I'll give you the biggest one. The biggest one. Changing all licenses to certifications. It's a massive thing to change. License from certifications, right? If say for example,
yes. Yeah. Right.
So the difference between a license and a certification, right? If I want to
of approval, one is a permission to work.
Correct. Just make that shift. That's it. Making that, because that's my way or no way.
And on top of that, I got to say, like that is, oh man, occupational licensing. Like here's my policy. I'm okay with occupational licensing if it's a situation where if you screw up, body fluids are going to shoot out of somebody.
If you remember my rule on this from when I ran was, would you ask a friend to do it?
Good.
That was my rule. Would you ask your friend to cut your hair? Don't need a license. Yeah. Would you ask your friend to remove your gallbladder? Probably not. Get a license.
Right. Yeah, I think that's spot on. And but for all that stuff at the friend level, like so I was a tour guide in Washington, D.C. for a while. I was a Segway tour guide, and I got a polite shakedown from the cops one time where they came up and they're like, "Where's your tour guide license?" And I was like, "What? Why would I need a tour guide license?" And they're like, they were very nice, but they're like, "Look, dude, you got to have a tour guide license. Like the city's telling us you're doing this. Like we're gonna let you finish the tour, but if we see you do this again, we're gonna like maybe arrest you." Like they were really nice to me, but also we're like, "We are going to arrest you. We're going to fine you $6,000." Like the actual threat was there.
What you've just done is right, and this is the environment piece. The cops showed you they don't want to do that. That's why they did that. You know, people get mad at cops all the time, right? Yeah, cops are so evil. My dad was in law enforcement, right? Cops are so bad, right? The reality of it is we have an environment that makes them that way. Do you think those cops want to harass you on your Segway? Of course not.
I have to think I was a low priority for them that day, but they got the dispatcher call and they're like, the mayor's telling you to crack it.
Exactly.
I was like, all right, I'll go do this. And I was naive enough at that time. I was like, well, I guess this is, because I'm on a vehicle and there are other people on vehicles. It must be a safety thing. I'm gonna have to take a course on like traffic and maybe first aid. And I was like, all right, I'm like, okay, am I allowed to swear in this? I don't know what the rules are.
No rules.
The test was complete bullshit. For a tour guide license. Like it was like one of the first of all, it was in the same, the tour guide was in the same licensing category as like professional wrestlers and plumbers. I don't know why.
They're very related.
Yeah, there's like three, but they had me fill out this 300 thing test. Like, okay, so like 8 of the questions had to deal with the Octagon House in DC, where they're like, what president stayed at the Octagon House between 1880 and 1890? And I'm like, I think the answer is nobody gives a shit. I think that's the answer. Correct. No one will ever ask me about this. No one cares about it. And then one of the question that enraged me was, and I'm not saying this, I'm saying this verbatim minus the numbers. I don't remember the numbers. It was how much of Washington, D.C. is owned by the federal government? 12, 13, 42, or 57? And I went up to the proctor and I went, I can't answer this question because it doesn't say percentage or acreage. Like, I don't know. It doesn't, there's no way for me to do this. And he was like, down. And I was like, oh, because it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You guys just wanted to fucking bilk me for money.
You just wanted to feed.
Goddamn no, it's easier to push poor people around with occupational licenses than it is to raise taxes.
Yes.
And so we're just going to do a regressive tax that people are going to put up with. And that's what it was. And that's what most of occupational licensing is.
100% true. Absolutely. 100% true. I completely agree with what you just said. And it's always a shakedown.
Yeah.
It's always, and people always say, but they made this new law. And I said, it's a money grab.
Yeah.
Larry, I didn't explain what the law was. Doesn't matter.
Same with most sin taxes.
Yes,
like there's a certain amount of sin taxes which are sort of puritanical authoritarianism, but really most sin taxes are, I'm a state legislator. I know that like people that like do Pilates are going to get really mad at me if I raise property taxes. Right. If I raise cigarette taxes, they're poor. Like overall, like you're more likely if you smoke cigarettes to be lower income than higher income. And you're probably not going to be able to organize very well. So I'm just going to do that. And then we can put in that park I wanted.
Exactly. And make the Pilates people even happier.
Yep. And then they get the park and everybody wins.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I'm on a rant now because you're in New York. Like New York has all sorts of stuff like that. Like
worst.
Given that you ran for governor, you're way more aware. But like the one that boggled my mind was some of the housing schemes there where Bloomberg put in a rule in New York City that all of the new sky rises have to have X amount of lower income housing available in them. The idea being that we're going to try and invite in lower. The actual application of that is that these sky rises don't update the applications. They don't require you. So, for example, if you just graduated college from Dartmouth in finance and you don't have a job yet, technically your income is zero.
That's correct.
You're unemployed. You qualify. So
Yes,
you fill out the stupid form. And then 3 years from now, when you're now making $80,000, they call you up, invite you in. And then what they're all thinking is, this guy's one of us.
Yep.
I would rather have this dude in here or like, maybe somebody who's an artist who's doing fine than an actual poor person because we don't want real poor people in our building. And it's just a friggin' handout to like basically upper middle class people that know how to rig the system.
That's what rent stabilization is now in Manhattan. Yeah. The poor. I mean, there are some people who are not doing well on rent stabilization, but most of them are hand-me-downs from father to son. That's guy's making he's making $400,000 a year and he's paying $800 in rent in Manhattan. That's how it's actually working. Yes, and the people who are poor get thrown out. Mm-hmm. Literally, there are people who are large developers. They have thugs who make the life miserable for the people who are in the rent stabilization, so they can throw them out. Or they buy them out of their property. Literally go by every day. So Heaton, $100,000 for you to leave. Literally, just like that. $100,000, Heaton, like that. And you finally go, fine, stop yelling at me every day when I come home from work. I'll take the money. And you then take the money, literally bribe you. You leave. They revamp the entire place and then triple the rent. Happens all the time.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like New York.
Yes, that's totally right.
Yeah, I had very little appreciation for the New York housing scheme. Like I did not see a lot of evidence of a well-run, well thought out housing structure there.
Not at all. Not at all. All right. We've only gotten through like one video.
Half of a video.
There's like 9 and we got through like 1. This is not a clips show. It's a clip show. So anyway, let me keep going if I may. If I may.
51 just past the Starbucks. Don't even look at the Starbucks.
I love that one.
Past the Starbucks, then take a hard left.
Just off Highway 88 between the Chick-fil-A and the Exxon. Big Steve's Republican National Committee.
I love both of those, right? Yeah. The idea of don't go to Starbucks because that's when Schultz was running.
That's when Schultz was running, and they were mad at that guy.
Yes, they were. That team actually called me.
Oh, yeah?
Well, because they were considering running independent.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, and at the time, this is obviously a bit ago, but at the time, there was no one who had run a larger independent campaign than I had. Right, I had run the largest one since Gary Johnson. No one had run an independent campaign as long as a third-party campaign as big as I had. New York State was a massive campaign. I raised $500,000, which I mean is not massive, but for third party, it's massive, right? So I'd run the largest one. So doing that, they called me up, and I was like, "You got to run Libertarian." Well, we want to run independent. You're never going to do it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like
if Bloomberg's not going to do it
2 or 3 times and try and build up ballot access, but that's the big thing there, right? Is ballot access? I assume.
I told him, I said, you're going to drop $25 million at least to try to get ballot access, and you still might not get it. Are you okay dropping $25 million before you have a political ad, before you've paid a consultant to try to get off of these states, and you still might not get it? You might only get 45. I said the Green Party only had like 40 last time. Constitution had 25 last time. We had 50. I said, not just that, you're going to be fighting, you're going to be trying to use the same consultants we're using because we're trying to get it too. So they're going to pay even more. And they're not going to stay with you. They're going to come to us because we're every year. You're one time. So you're going to get B and C tier consultants to get you on these ballots. It's a waste of your time. Run Libertarian. They were like, nope. And then they dropped out.
Yeah. But I mean, Schultz struck me as like a pro-market Democrat, which I like. Like I get along very well with pro-market Democrats.
As Democrats go, he's not a bad one.
Yeah, like I could totally like I like the like Michael Bennett, Hickenlooper, Jared, like basically any Democrat from Colorado, I really like. I don't know what it is, but like they get it. Like I would totally be a Colorado Democrat.
There we go.
Like Schultz seemed to be kind of more that direction, but he didn't strike me as like libertarian though. I think that was probably bridge too far for him.
It was. He wasn't libertarian, but I'm just saying, as far as Democrats go, he wasn't a bad Democrat. I completely agree with that, but I don't think he was libertarian.
Yeah,
I don't. I know. So I love that part. And then the Chick-fil-A and Exxon. I mean, that little at the end, well done.
What I love about that video is that Austin, the guy that I'm in there with, has this whole character arc occurring where like the beginning of it, he is so pained. Like as he's talking, he's like, oh God, I have to come out and defend this guy.
Yes.
But then there's this turning point about halfway through where it's almost like he has inherited the managership of the very last Blockbuster rental. And by God, he's gonna try it. He's going to give it the fighting. He's like, actually, it's pretty good. And like comes around. Oh, it's masterful. He's a very funny guy.
I felt that in the 2016 campaign as I was defending Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. I felt that a lot. I get that guy. So, all right, I want to do a similar one. You guys just I think it came out today, actually.
It came out, I think yesterday. It's
COVID. Can I put that one out?
Please do.
All right. This is it's similar, right? But not the same, but just it is similar.
Same characters.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, those aren't
different characters.
Okay.
I think, or maybe I don't remember.
Technically, I'm the same character, but it's functionally not. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Okay.
Our identities never come up in the other one.
All right,
folks. Mayor Hightower here with a friendly reminder that everything is fine. Yep. You may have heard some nasty rumors about a dangerous China virus. Well, rest assured, my staff and I are hard at work coming up with racist nicknames to call it.
Hello, friends. Mayor Buck Schwartzmore here. Everything's fine. You don't need to buy masks. Everybody's been buying up masks.
Why?
You don't need to. They don't protect you. They might even be counterproductive. Who knows? Stop buying masks. Also, if anybody knows how to short stock on Robinhood for a completely unrelated reason, if you would get in touch with me, I'd appreciate it.
Now, what I love about that is that's exactly how it started. Right?
Yes.
That is exactly how it started, right? Don't buy masks. They don't work. Don't worry about it. But we need them. That was the best one. But we need them. We need them for our people. But you don't need to buy them, but we need them. They don't work at all, but we need them. That was what they were all saying. And then the Republicans were saying the opposite. They were saying, oh, this is nothing. It's the Chinese virus. That's what it is. Wuhan. Chinese people getting us. That's what it is. Totally true. I love this.
We don't shut down schools in Virginia unless it's for desegregation, but that only lasted a year or so.
I think it's important right now to have a good, strong showing of leadership to indicate that I'm, doing stuff. So we're going to institute social distancing here. No one can gather in any group larger than my re-election donor dinner.
I have it on good authority that this Kung flu will be all done by Easter, maybe even by Jewish Easter.
About the CD.
Hold on. This part I love too, right? The part that I love is to say that I'm doing something.
Yeah. I got to look busy.
Yes.
It's important that this just reflect well on me.
I can't believe how real that is. I mean, my governor is doing a daily briefing where he insults us. And we just go, yeah. And most people don't know this. New York State has been shut down and destroyed by our governor, who at first said, I would never shut it down, then decided to shut it down. I would never shut down New York, then shut down New York. There's no way I would implement this, then implemented this. Our mayor, literally, to be clear, has taken off the basketball hoops from the playgrounds so we can't play basketball. I'm not joking. And 80% of New Yorkers in the most recent poll, 80% approve of our governor. Now, our governor is a Democrat, right? So I get if Democrats approve, but Republicans, 65% of them approve. This is like Stockholm syndrome. We now love our jailers. I can't believe how bad this is, right? It's so bad. It's just, he's not doing anything but coming out and saying, I'm doing stuff. That's all he's doing. It's horrible. All right, sorry about that.
PC test. It turns out they were just mood rings super glued to thermometers, so no luck there.
I did talk to our health officials. We're bringing in a truckload of that aquarium cleaner. Real good results coming out of Italy.
Yes, I did lie to you about the masks.
Thank
but
you.
I only lied to you because I was afraid you'd hoard them. A, that's on you.
See?
B, you're welcome.
I wish that wasn't true. Like everything you're doing, I wish it wasn't true, but it's so true, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he lied and then blames us. Well, you were going to hoard it. I lied to you for your own good.
I can't think of a worse situation to undermine your validity with the public than a pandemic. Where like, if there's ever a time where it's like we really need to be able to trust our institutions so that we can make decisions here, and they're like, all right, first though we're going to lie to them to get more masks. Like, oh, don't fucking like. It would have been much better to be like, guys, you're in good health, don't buy masks. Like we're going to use them. You know, the market will stabilize, all that kind of stuff. Nope,
absolutely. But the thing that I brought up, May, someone wants you to bring in mostly weeklies back, by the way.
I'll mention that to the reason folk.
There we go. So, but no, the thing that I've mentioned more than anyone else I know is the reason why they were so slow to react was so the wealthy can become liquid, so that they can purchase all of the assets of the middle class and working poor when this crashes. Right? That's the real reason behind it. And people they think it's conspiracy theory. They always do that. But if you check your own data, I mean, you really can if you want to. It happened in 2001 with the dot-com bubble, 2009 with the real estate bubble, and now with the housing bubble. The debt bubble. What? If you look at what happened, most people who were savvy thought the crash was going to come anyway. They just thought it was going to come in December, right? They didn't think it was going to come now. They thought it was going to come in December. I mean, this is, again, I did a show on this showing how CNN literally said it. We were waiting for December for this. They literally said it. I mean, you can watch my old shows from 3 weeks ago. They said it on Fareed Zakaria. I watch Fareed Zakaria every week, and the woman literally said it out loud. Yep, we were just waiting for it. But all of a sudden, when COVID came, they weren't ready. So the wealthy weren't liquid yet. So they have to give us a couple of weeks so they can get liquid and have cash. That's how wealth gets redistributed. It's not because the government it's because the Fed keeps creating bubbles. And every time you make a bubble, the wealthy get liquid first. Then when they have their money, then the middle class and the working poor can't pay their bills. So they have to sell their assets. Well, who buys the assets? The wealthy who are now liquid.
Well, so can you go back on that? So sure. The idea is that they held back on closing the state down so that
they held back on even making anybody afraid.
Okay.
They didn't want you to get liquid, Heaton. We don't want you. We want you to make sure you move to California and have some horrible bills.
Dollars. I don't know that it would have made a huge difference for me anyway.
I'm just saying, right? But that's the point, right? What happens is, if you remember, there was actually, again, remember those congressmen who sold their stock?
Yeah.
That's my example right there. How they knew, they sold their stock. Now they got cash. Now they're liquid. They've got cash. Now all of a sudden, remember we were telling you how it was nothing? We're kidding. It's the end of the world. Oh my God, end of the world. Oh my God, everyone gets laid off. I can't afford to pay my bills. Someone's got to buy my stuff. Boom, shift and a bigger wealth gap.
So that is demonstrable with some of the politicians. Do you think also that rich people were just calling them? And if so, like, hey, like you need to keep this under wraps so I can buy stuff. And if so, do you have evidence for that?
No. If you do your own homework if you want. There's a thing that financial advisors do, and it's called burning your books. And the burning book is, what happens is high-end financial advisors will say, for example, have, for the sake of argument only, 100 clients. 10 of their clients are their biggest, baddest, most powerful clients. right? Give or take, they make maybe $10 million or more in assets, something like that, right? The other 90 are lower, right? They have 200,000, 100,000, 500,000 in assets, whatever the case may be, 100,000 assets, that kind of thing. The smaller clients for this financial advisor. Well, he sees bad stuff coming down the pike and goes, oh my God, the world's ending. I see it. Okay. Hey, my top 10 guys, I think you should start changing how your portfolio looks. You should put a whole lot more into money markets, cash right now. Get out of some of your bonds, get out of that stuff. Do that, do that kind of thing right now. And they start doing it. Then the crash hits. Then they go, oh, Andrew, there's a crash. React. It's too late. I burn my books. I don't actually care if you come back to me a year from now because you only had $100,000 in assets anyway. I don't care. The guys who I made liquid, they had 10 million. They're going to have 12 or 14 million afterwards. So I make up from you in a heartbeat. So I don't mind losing my 90%. I'll keep my 10. They'll double in assets. I'll still make tons of money. And you'll come back to me later anyway, once you've rebuilt in 10 years. And then I'll take the rest of your money right after that. Because then the next crash will come, which is what happened 2001, 2009, and 20. So every 10 years, you just keep taking the money. And the wealth gap keeps going. There's two things you'll notice since 2001, in any stat you look. Increase about a year later in suicides. Each one's a bump because, of course, deaths of despair are horrible, right? And wealth gap. It's all because of these. Every time that happens, wealth gap grows. And we keep going, it's Democrats, it's Republicans. They're all the same.
Well, hold on, just so I'm understanding you here, and I'm not trying to contradict you. I just this is fascinating to me, and I haven't heard it phrased this way. So you're saying that the main driving force of inequality is not just general profit, rather it's when these busts happen, the rich liquidize and then buy up all the poor assets.
You see it everywhere, right? And I'll tell you two ways you see it, but no, not from that, not equality, wealth gap. Okay. This is specifically for the wealth gap. Right? You see it in two ways. One, the increase in franchises. Franchises everywhere. Franchises are an important part of our economy. They're good. They're great ways for people to step into entrepreneurship. Absolutely. But you go to some towns, there's nothing but franchises. It's nothing else. Everything's a Subway or a Minuteman Press or everything is a franchise because a franchise actually isn't a small business. It's a big business that has lobbyists, that has the money to market. So it has big business. So after every crash, the small businesses can't handle, they all go under, and then franchises jump in. And the guy who now is a manager of a Friendly's, does Friendly's still exist? Whatever. TGI Fridays used to own his diner, but the diner went under. Now he manages a Friendly's. You see that happen as one part. The second part is watching small houses go away and big conglomerates get built up. Big apartment buildings get grown, or big complexes go out. So ownership goes away and rental properties pop up. You see that everywhere, right? Knocking down smaller houses and bigger ones pop up. That's a bunch of people. They put their money into a fund, right? Again, a blind fund or whatever, so no one knows who it is. And then they buy these things. And that's why it's always massive developers who do this. So it increases the big developers, buy up a bunch of small plots, and then build something bigger. Happens all the time. So in Florida.
Now, are those just going to happen in a boom and bust system? So is there anything that could be done about those two factors?
You could audit the Fed.
Okay. Yeah.
You could audit the Fed and then let people see how the Fed actually works. And then once you audit it, then you might actually want to end it.
And basically the thinking is that if you audited the Fed, you'd either be able to connect the dots on a boom and bust cycle, or alternately you'd see cronyism at work.
Bingo. Ending the Fed. I know a lot of the hardcore libertarians like, end the Fed, end the Fed. The average American thinks the Fed is helping. Yeah. The average American doesn't believe the Fed's a bad thing. The average American thinks that the Fed is part of the government. The average American doesn't believe we have a central bank. How are we going to end the Fed? It's a fantasy. So instead, audit the Fed. And what will happen? Everyone will go, audit the Fed. Yeah, that's that government agency. Audit them. They're on board for auditing. Sure. Then we'll realize, oh, wait, we can't just randomly audit the Fed. It's not a government agency. It's a banking cartel. We can't just randomly audit them. We have to have a reason to audit them. They can just randomly audit you, can they? They have to have a reason. Well, you can't just audit the Fed. It's against the law. And when they actually figure that out, they go, oh, wait a minute. We can't audit the Fed? No, because it's not part of the government. What? When that happens, all of a sudden the press will start talking about it and go, oh, it's not part of, oh, it's a banking cartel. People will get it, look into it. We can end it. The first step to ending the Fed is auditing the Fed, which is why
I'm going to lose so much credibility with your audience right now.
I still love you either way. It doesn't matter.
Thank you, Larry. Mm-hmm. I have forgotten so much of this. I used to work for Congress. I worked on the Hill. I don't think I was friends with anybody in Ron Paul's office, but he was there at the time. And I was, while I was a Democrat, I was reading Ron Paul's literature. Mm-hmm. So at that time, like I knew far more about the Fed. I've now forgotten it. When you say banking cartel, like, what I remember is that the Fed is like a board composed of like private banks and regulators. But you're saying
banking cartel.
But
you literally just described the banking cartel.
Is the Fed is it a wholly private business that we've outsourced government things to? Yeah.
You basically just said, I heard it was a car. I didn't think it was a car. I thought it was something with 4 wheels you drove. That's what you just said. You literally described the banking cartel.
But like the head of the Federal Reserve, like, is appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate, right? So like there is a government approval process going into it.
Okay, so it's one of those quasi-government things.
Okay.
I guess. Okay, but he can't fire the guy.
Yeah.
So okay, so so someone decides that can we approve that guy? Yeah, absolutely. But people don't believe it. They don't believe that we have a central bank. If you ask the average person, do we have a central bank? They go, no, we don't need one. We got the Fed.
Yeah.
I'm serious. They will literally say those words to you. We don't need a Fed. We don't need a central bank. We got the Fed. They'll literally say that to you.
Yeah.
So yes, I live in the real world. I talk to people, and I know they have no idea.
Well, I think if you ask the average person, do we have a central bank, they would say, what does that mean? Like, I think
even that, yes. Assuming they even knew what a central bank was, they wouldn't think that we had one.
Yeah.
Wouldn't think we had one. So anyway, I'm messing you up. I'm sorry. I'm messing you up. So
no, that's good. Like Larry, in complete honesty, like I feel like a lot of the time, if I go on a political show, it's either me arguing with somebody or it's somebody that is just we're just patting each other on the back. Mm-hmm. I'm learning stuff from you. Like there's multiple. I'm actually taking notes here. Like, and it's been consistent through this whole thing where I'm like, huh. Okay, and like I said, I'm not an idiot. I've been around the block a few times. Yep. I'm like, I have a lot of information back here. So like, thanks for having such a huge arsenal of knowledge that I can still be learning stuff from you.
You got to remember, I've been doing this straight for 4 years. I've been in the game straight for 4 years, and I do everything live, off the cuff, no notes for 4 years. So I'm like a trained guy doing this, right? This is another reason why I want to be the VP, because I want to be the guy who can do this. Most of the time, if you watch these interviews, they're boring. One thing I'm not is boring. That I'm not. You might disagree with me, but I'm not boring. So I want to make sure people remember what I say, or at least how they feel. That's something. So anyway, can we keep going? One more?
Yeah.
All right.
I never said that old people are expendable. I said they are non-essential.
Today I'm going to show you how to make your own mask using a bandana, some coffee filters, and elastic.
Make our very own mask at home with an old t-shirt and some rubber bands.
Hey, what do I need to do to get some of that stimulus money?
Mm-hmm.
Necktie and half a coconut.
Yeah, I'm a small business. I'm a regional airline. Great. Yeah, 8 million should cover it.
From some
sad part about both of those, right, is that the idea that a government can call us non-essential and that we would take it is embarrassing. That we would actually take that. This is the part of all the things that have happened, and I hate them all. But the one that bothers me the most is that we accepted the concept that a government can say that I'm not essential. That my job that pays my bills, that feeds my family, that feeds my ego, that makes me happy or not, whatever the case may be, is not essential because somebody says so. And we just sat back and took it.
Just to play devil's advocate for a minute.
Go ahead.
I feel like in a national crisis scenario, it is helpful to make a delineation between things which are necessary for biological continuance or not. Right. So like I'm not biologically necessary. Like
Why aren't you biologically necessary?
Because I mean, I'm providing entertainment, right? But between me and like a grocery store, I'm going to say the grocery store is far more important than me. Like
you could actually say that a grocery store is more important. I might buy that argument. Maybe it is. But why are you not essential? You are still a human being. You own your own life. You are someone's purpose, even if you aren't your own. I hope you're your own purpose, but you're someone's purpose. Someone loves you. You love someone. You are essential. And so if I sit in my basement by myself with no one, and I become in such despair that I take my own life, maybe you were essential, Andrew. Maybe I needed you. Maybe I needed to have this conversation to stop myself from putting a shotgun in my mouth and pulling trigger. Maybe I need that.
And you know what? Like weirdly, like podcasters were determined by the state of California to be essential. So
I love that.
In the current state, I am, even though, yeah.
But I'll go one step further. The biggest issue is who decides what's essential for you. I bring this up because it part of this is personal for me, right? My mother and my father both passed away of cancer. My father passed away when he was younger. And when he was dying, he wanted quantity of life. He said, I don't care. Cut me open 25 times. I want to live. I don't want to die. That's what he cared about. My mother, she was older when she passed. She was like, I want quality of life. I don't want to live horribly or die horribly. She literally wanted to spend time with my daughter, her granddaughter, before she died. So when she was on chemo and her immune system was compromised, she still went to a playground. She had a mask on at the time. This is many years ago. She had a mask on. And she went there and she was like, if I die on a swing with my granddaughter, okay. And here's the reality. Both of them are right. They owned their own lives and they can take whatever quantity of value of their life they may. You own your life. And if you think I'm essential to you, then I am. And if you think I'm not, then I'm not. The only person who decides what's essential to you is you. No exception to that rule ever. Without exception. Zero exception to that rule. That's what I feel in my heart. That's what I believe. It doesn't matter. It's my life. I own my life. You own your life. I can advise you. I can tell you. I can give you the information. And I hope if you're 80-something years old and you're immune compromised, I hope you don't go outside. I don't want you to. But if you say, Larry, I don't want to take my last 2 years I have of life in someone's basement, I'd rather go out to a skate park and die. Go on with your bad self. Go on. It's your life. Go on with your bad self. Why would I stop you? But more importantly, who the hell am I to stop you? Well, you might make somebody else sick. Then they can stay home, can't they? Then they cannot go to the skate park where you are. They can do that if they want to. But more importantly, if you create an environment to where people would actually realize the pain they're causing, they won't go out anyway. We would self-quarantine. How do you know that? Look at the polls. The polls are saying right now, 80% of Americans still want to stay indoors. So even if you opened it up, most would stay indoors anyway. You don't have to fight. People with the right environment do the right thing again and again and again. But we still keep thinking centralized planning, ordering them makes things better. It doesn't. It crushes their spirit. It destroys us as human beings. And worse, what we did, particularly in New York State, but throughout the entire country, we said, we don't own our lives. We don't own our futures. We don't own our businesses or our families. Our government does. This is going to be a turning point in our nation. 100 years from now, when they write the history books, they'll go, this was the one. 9/11 was the first. This was the second. This is the beginning of the end of what we have to whatever our end is. Whether I hope our end's not violent. I hope our end instead is political. And I hope it's a liberty movement, because I can't think of any better movement to make that happen. But this is going to be a big, big problem.
What do you think so like with 9/11, like, out of that, much worse to travel now. We've got TSA, we've got the Patriot Act. I'd say like for the average American, in terms of just how it impacts them, honestly, like probably just how irritating it is to go through lines at the airport. And I fly a lot, or used to. Mm-hmm. So like I'm trying to think of what civil liberties are likely to be eroded in the wake of this. The things that I've come up with are, I suspect that the next fight will be whether or not, say, your phone can have an app that tracks you, so that if a pandemic breaks out, an agency can know. And I'm fine with that if you can turn it off. Like if I would keep it on.
But you won't be able to turn it off.
And that's my point. Is like if I have right, I'm fine with it. But if it's obligatory, then I'm like, well, I don't want a tracking device.
Yeah, tracking device will be one. The second will be mandatory stuff I can put in your body, and mandatory stuff you have to wear. Done. Mandatory stuff you have to wear, mandatory stuff I can put in your body, and tracking. That will come from this. That's it. They're going to decide.
Now, do you just mean as a concept, or do you mean like 6 months from now everybody has to wear masks on planes, or what are you thinking?
Any of those, right? We've just done what we always do in America, is we surrender our rights because of fear. It's what we do. We surrender our rights because of fear. I'm scared. Take our rights, please. And we beg the government to do so. The government doesn't force this on us. There's no tanks in the streets. The government's not forcing us. We are eagerly saying, take our rights. We're afraid. Take them all. Since when did Americans become so goddamn afraid? But we are. We're so afraid. And people who are afraid make bad decisions. Yeah, they do. And we are making them right now. Let's hope we can get rid of some of that fear and start moving forward. Anyway, I've yapped like there's no tomorrow. We went an hour and a half. Anything you want to cover before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I will once again extend an offer to your wonderful listeners, some of whom I already know and I recognize in the comments, to check out my podcast, The Political Orphanage. I had on Matt Ridley, author of The Rational Optimist, which is a wonderful book talking about how basically free markets and innovation makes everything great. Here a couple of weeks ago, Catherine Mangier-Ward from Reason is going to be on next week.
Nice.
And so I think it would be directly pertinent to your listeners, and I invite them to check that out, The Political Orphanage.
There we go. Political Orphanage. And of course, head over to mightyheaton.com. And last, I want to say, as I always try to say, guys, if you like what I'm doing, if you care, please like, comment, share. This stuff matters. This is what matters for us. You got to do it. Please head over to my Sharpe Way. Like it on Facebook. If you haven't, go do it right now. Don't screw around. Right now. If you haven't done the YouTube, go there right now. Hit subscribe and the little button that makes you have to hear me when I'm going. Yes, I want to be in your ear. Do that too. And then please go to Twitter. Click on that also. If you are in a good financial situation right now, I know many of you aren't, head on over to patreon.com/SharpeWay. Throw me 10, 20, 30 bucks. If you got tons of money, throw me $500 a month. If you're that good, because I am worth it, the question is, do you have it? If you have it, send it. If you don't, no worries. Like, comment, and share is free. I get it. It's free. Help me out. We can move this thing forward. I want to say thank you so much for coming on, Andrew. It was amazing. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was fun to hang out with you, Larry.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed our Friday night.